welcome to my Sunday morning live stream video. I know that I said I wasn't going to get on at 11 a.m. today, but then I was able to, and so I came here today to talk about rockstar romance. That's the general topic for today's video. So if you're able to watch this live, welcome and thank you for coming. And if you are not able to watch this live, that is totally cool. Watch it later. I'm going to be on here for about 30-40 minutes, just sharing a lot about my rockstar romance series. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can watch some part or all of it. And I'm going to be reading from different books and talking about a lot of different things. So hi to the Heather Dior and Williams Chantel for coming today. And I'm going to just get through like what I normally do, my topics for the video. So first I'm going to talk about new releases and the book of the month very quickly, and then I'm going to talk about rockstar romance books in general, and then my series, the Nashville's Rebel Blood rock stars, and talk about, again, hi Frederick Gontes, and talk about possible future rockstar romance ideas, other rockstar romance stories I may have out, and then if we have time at the end, I may talk a little bit more about Long Island Executioner and read a little excerpt from that. So those are the general topics I have planned for today. Again, welcome if you're able to watch live, and if you're not, you can still get a lot out of this if you are watching it after the video. Hi Francesca. So the first thing I want to get onto is the two new releases I have coming this month. On October 12th, we have The Dirty Contract. It is a second chance romance, friends to lovers romance. It's very, very spicy, and it is hi A. Haggerty, and it is coming out on the 12th. So you can pre-order the book now. You can either type in smarturl.it/The Dirty Contract or get the link in my bio to get that book. It's around 34K, so it's not very long. Yes, it's going to be in Kindle Unlimited, but it is an ebook only book. So that book I haven't published anywhere else yet. Like I haven't put chapters on Patreon. I have shared a blog post, hi Gypsy Princess, so you can check out the blog post on jamilajasperromance.com/blog and read the first chapter free. For those of you who have already got that one, you know about The Dirty Contract. I have another dark mafia romance starting on October 27th, a new series. And so that series, Long Island Executioner, is the first book, and it is an Italian, hi Cara, and it is an Italian mafia romance. So that is a dark romance. I hope we can get to the little excerpt I have today, and that is available on smarturl.it/Long Island Mafia 1, as in the number 1, or again, you can look in my bio for the link to that book. I'm really excited for the new Long Island series. Don't sleep on it. It's going to be even better than the Dukas brothers, and we are going to be back in America in the beautiful, interesting setting of Long Island. So that is what's coming next. So if you have both of these books pre-ordered, let me know in either the live stream comments or the other one. Let me know if you're waiting for the book to come out or if you're going to wait when it's convenient to you, and you can comment even if the video is not live. So moving on, because I want to get to the meat of the stories today. I don't want to spend too long on the introduction here, is the book of the month, which I talked about yesterday. And that is Cocky Cowboy. It's a small town, romantic suspense. It's kind of enemies to lovers. Hi, Viviana. And it is, let's see, what was I saying? Enemies to lovers. It's kind of a shorter one, and it's available 99 cents everywhere ebooks are sold. So that's what's special about it this month. It's not in KU, but you can get this one on Google Play, iBooks, Kobo, wherever. So be sure to check out Cocky Cowboy. It's discounted to 99 cents for this month only, and I think you will really like the book if you haven't read it yet. So let's get into rockstar romance, the topic I wanted to focus on today. So I have, you may see my index cards. These are my bookmarks for the excerpts I'm going to read. But I have here the 3 books in the series that I'm going to be talking about today for rockstar romance. So hi, Mary Shiloh and Dale. I'm sorry, I'm seeing Daleth. I cannot, I'm sorry. I'm going to just read Dale, the first 4 letters, because for some reason the letters are jumbling in my head. So listening to Redneck Rebels, 2 minutes left. I bought Cocky Cowboy yesterday, says Kara. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for being here today to watch today's video. So I wanted to first get into what is rock star romance. Well, at least in bwwm, you have a black female lead, and then you have a white male rock star hero. And in a series like the one I have, we can get a book for everyone in the band. What appeals to people about rock star romance, in my opinion, as a writer, a reader, whatever, I think there's something about a celebrity. They have a lot of power. They're very suave, smooth, confident. They're the type of alphas who know what they want. Maybe they walk on the wild side a little bit in terms of how they spend their money, and maybe the things that they buy with their money. In dark romance, certainly maybe a little less than savory. And so that is kind of where we are when we get into what appeals to us about rock star romance. I've noticed too, a lot of rock star romance books tend to be on the kinkier side. They tend to have a little bit of bondage. We're talking mirrors on the ceiling, just that decadent, sensual, velvet, silk, whips and chains, rock star environment in those types of books. So I think obviously if you like these things, you will like rockstar, any of the dark rockstar romance stories that I have out. And of course, there are black female leads in all three of the books. And today I will talk about all of the leads and give you a little more background in some of the books. So I wanted to ask you, have you read any rockstar romance stories before, whether mine or someone else's? And you can comment in the stream or after on the post if you'd like, or send me a DM if you just want to chat about it. And what do you like about the rockstar romance books? Do you like the celebrity, just the alphas? What specifically appeals to you about them? And also, do you listen to that type of music? And is that why you are more drawn to the books? I listen to all types of music, and I'll get into that when I talk about the types of music that inspired, or I guess were behind each of the three books. And A. Haggerty says all three of your books, so thank you for that. I definitely appreciate it. So let's see, I'm trying to get to my little list here so I don't lose track of my train of thought. Hi, Sherry Girl 93. So let's get into the three books in my series. So we have here Pretty Little Monster, Teasing the Tyrant, and Seducing the Sadist. All three are about rock stars in one band from Nashville, and they are called Rebel Blood is the name of the band. So I actually did a research trip where I stayed in Nashville for a few days, honestly, when I was already halfway through writing Pretty Little Monster, to get a better idea of the environment and the culture that I was writing about. I was not very familiar with a lot of the South, which is why a lot of my books are set in the Northeast, where I happen to be more familiar with. And I wanted to get a little bit more accurate of a setting and like a vibe for the band itself. And so I took a little trip from New York down to Nashville to experience it. I tried Nashville hot chicken. I went to a basement rock show, and I did a couple other low-key things. I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame to research this book, and I do think it really helped me to get into the vibe of Nashville and the band. Why did I want the band to be from Nashville? I can't really say. To me, I guess Nashville is known for its music. I really wanted to write a book set in the South, and I thought that it would be somewhere realistic for me to research. That would be a big place where kind of music is centered, and we could have that country rock type of feel to the books. So that was kind of how I got started with that. So the first book in the series, Pretty Little Monster, is about the couple Sebastian and Angie. And I've talked about this book in other live streams because it was my book of the month in September, and it was 99 cents in September, and it is no longer 99 cents now. But you can get a paperback version of the book. Let me see. I try to show you like how big the font is and how it looks. The font is a little on the big side in this book, which I like. And so you can see kind of what it looks like generally here. So Sebastian is the lead singer of the band Rebel Blood, and Angie is a woman who he met 10 years ago from where the book took place, and her boyfriend at the time sold her to Sebastian for the night in order to pay off his gambling debt. After that experience, she escapes and takes the money that Sebastian gives her for Plan B to get, I think it was a bus ticket out of California, and she goes back to Nashville. 10 years later, Sebastian gets clean from drugs. He also goes back to Nashville, and then he tries to track down the woman who he met. Hi, Sandra. Thank you for coming to today's video. And he finds her, except he learns something is not quite the same with her, and she has a child whose father at the beginning of the book is in question. So this is a secret baby book. It's a second chance romance. It's a swirl romance. It's on the dark side, definitely the beginning, and how they get together at first is really dark. It's a book about someone breaking all your trust in them and then building that back up slowly time. And it's also a book with a lot of warm, mushy feelings about Sebastian and him being a good father. So if you like those types of stories, second chance, secret baby, and you want a little dark and steamy and want to fantasize about Sebastian Jefferson, you can get this story. So Seb Jefferson's character, I want to talk about all the rock stars because I did put a lot of effort in coming up with them. Seb Jefferson was platinum blonde. In the books, I can't remember if I said this, but in the books, he was supposed to be platinum blonde because he and Mickey were both brunettes, and so the label forces him to dye his hair platinum blonde to differentiate him. Yes, it's different from the cover, but I made the cover before I wrote the book, so that's where it ended up. So Seb's aesthetic is he looks platinum blonde, he has blue eyes, and he also dresses kind of in like Jim Morrison. I don't know if you know the Doors, so he has more of the classic rock aesthetic. And so for me, that meant kind of these white flowy linen shirts, black leather pants, and Seb has that kind of old school rock, 60s rock look going, but a very modern haircut. And he's lean, he has tattoos, and he's a guitarist and a singer. And I find him, yes, he was one of my favorite heroes, and Sandra says that I can get into, and I agree. And then Angie in this book, it's hard because sometimes I don't say specifically, oh, this is a plus-sized romance, or I will describe the character as just thick or curvy, but in my mind, the character is probably plus size. And sometimes if I show the inspiration, people will say, oh, this isn't a plus size person, but the inspiration is just the inspiration, and how I describe them in the book is how I describe them in the book. I would say that Angie is kind of like, she has had a child. So she is a thick, full-figured woman who has had a child, and I imagined her as being a very normal but pretty looking, very, very dark-skinned woman. And I definitely had a model in mind, or someone I saw on Pinterest who had a very round face, full lips. She wasn't like a well-known model. I think she's just like an Instagram girl, but you know Pinterest, they never tell me who it is. She's not one of the more popular YouTube gurus. It's just someone's face that I thought was very pretty, and I based Angie on. So let me get to two of these comments. So A. Haggerty says, I love the book because he admitted he was wrong and did everything to win her back. And yes, I loved writing that into the book. And Mary says, I love books like that. It keeps me on edge. And I agree. I like the books with more tension and more of that suspense element to them. So did I have any regrets with this book? I wrote down a new category to give you guys any regrets with this book. Well, I wish I honestly could have written just more and more epilogue scenes of them with Calypso. I felt like I wanted to do Seb, Angie, and Calypso go to Disney. Seb, Angie, and Calypso go to the Grand Canyon. So I regret not having more time to write family scenes for them. And I also regret not writing, I can't remember, I think her best friend's name was Meg in this book. Meg and Logan's story. I regret not writing it right away because I still want to write it, but I don't have as much time as I would like to yet. So what did I see in the future for this couple? If I had to write a future, like a little short story about them, I would do what I said, a vacation story where Seb and Angie maybe go on a road trip with Calypso, and there are funny shenanigans and family couple dynamics. So that is what I see for them in the future, a family road trip vacation with shenanigans. And so before I get into the next book, I picked a little section of this one to read. Hi, Lekit Leanna, thank you for joining. And so I'm going to read a short chapter in Pretty Little Monster, and then we can get into the next one. So this is from Seb's perspective. A girl like Angeline. Angie gives me those large doe eyes as dark as her skin, maybe darker. Her cute little forehead wrinkles up. That's a horrible idea, she says. She's giving me a look like the idea of spending the night in my bed disgusts her. I know it doesn't. I've heard the way she moans with my lips on her neck. Why? I like you, I tell her. Okay, well then how about you talk to me for once instead of trying to get me into bed all the time? I try talking to you. You're like a wildcat. I have to tame you a bit before I talk to you. Whatever, Seb. She touches the sweater on the guest bed and nearly melts. It's the softest sweater I could find. That was a gift from Prada, I tell her. Loungewear. Prada sent you women's loungewear? They send lots of shit I can't keep track of. Every day there were boxes and boxes in the foyer in LA. You lead a charmed life, she grumbles. I stick my hands in my pockets. Don't I know it? It happened quick. First I was a hometown hero, a good old Tennessee boy who made it big. The first price I paid was that I never fit in anymore. I got my fame, but I lost the world. Maybe, I say, but it's lonely. If Angie wants to talk, we can talk. She just might not like what I've got to say. Lonely? She scoffs. What about the models and the bottles and all the shit you sing about? My love songs? I grin because this is the first time Angie's mentioned my music, which might mean she's listened to it. Love songs, lies, whatever you want to call them. Which one's your favorite? I don't have a favorite, she says, but I can tell she's lying, and she still hasn't moved for the new clothes. I turn around respectfully, and she exhales with relief, beginning to change. Nothing I ain't seen before, I point out. I'm not displaying myself to you at your whim. I still have rights, even in the glorious Seb Jefferson's mansion. Miss Angie, I groan, you are the toughest woman to impress. Stop trying to impress me and get real then. I turn around, and she's half dressed. Hoodie, but no yoga pants yet. Her legs make me hard. She has sexy legs. I love the color, the shape of her thighs, and her strong calf muscles. She's gorgeous, and she doesn't yell at me for looking. She just gets herself into those sexy yoga pants, jumping as they hug her thick thighs so she can fit her butt inside the tight fabric. Her ass bounces and jiggles as she squeezes it in, and I don't think I have the strength to control myself anymore. Damn you, woman. You want me to get real? Yes, you are the sexiest woman I've ever seen. She bites back with a hasty rebuttal. Really? I read an article that you dated a supermodel. Well, that story was a lie. I haven't dated anyone since you. She glances up at me, and I can tell she thinks I'm lying. Liar. I'm not lying. I got clean. Can't have sex during the first year. I chose not to have sex until I made amends. Her eyes meet mine, and she stares at me dumbfounded. So your stupid plan was to never have sex again until you met some random girl you had sex with 5 years ago? Not a random girl, I say, crossing over and holding her hand. My heart's pounding hard in my chest. If there's one thing Angie has right about me, it's that I have a really hard time getting real. I run my thumb over her palm and sigh. The one, I whisper. She wasn't a random girl. She was the one. So I'm going to stop here for now in this book. So that was Pretty Little Monster. Unfortunately, I am no longer running the discount promotion, but you can still get the story as an ebook, free in Kindle Unlimited, and you can get the paperback version. The chapters from the other books will be a little shorter, so hopefully we can get into those and I can talk a bit more about them. So the couple in this book were Mickey and Rain, and this was my most controversial book, and I want to get to my regrets for this book, but I must be patient. So what are the tropes in this book? Age gap romance. I think because Mickey was 28 and she was 18, this is one of my age gaps that I was more comfortable with. Thank you, Lekit Leanna says, I liked it, and I really appreciate that. I really liked this book as well. I took risks with this book. I wrote this book and I thought I feel like people aren't going to like Rain and they're going to find her annoying. And a lot of people found her annoying. And if you found Rain annoying, please comment because I will not be offended. I promise. I kind of was self-aware, but the thing with that is I really wanted Rain to be immature. I wanted her relationship with Mickey. I kind of wanted to do a contrast of her relationship with Keith and her relationship with Mickey. So she was in two age gap relationships back to back, and Keith was draining the life out of her. But her relationship with Mickey, on the other hand, allowed her to mature and improved her life, and she eventually found a way to get it together. So I kind of wanted to do in this relationship look at two age gaps, a toxic age gap and a non-toxic age gap. And Rain had to be immature for that to happen in my brain's universe. And so I had to take this risk, in my opinion, and Rain was a little bit annoying at times. Like, Rain was shady. She tried to blackmail Mickey. There were a lot of times when she was selling people out. She was just generally an out for herself, immature person who'd be on that phone. And that was what I went into it with her. And Mickey, on the other hand, while he was older, he just didn't want to take responsibility for himself. And in this book, I kind of wanted to show that when he found this girl he loved, Rain, that made him want to take that responsibility and get out of this rut where he's always relying on Seb and the band to pick him up from his addiction and his legal troubles. So this is the couple here. And so the whole premise of this book is in a very misguided attempt to improve Rain's condition in life. Her cousin Meg and Angie from book one conspire to have Rain stay at Mickey's mansion while he's on house arrest, and they challenge them to basically make an album together. But Rain can't sing, and she wants to use this opportunity instead of changing her life to blackmail Mickey and basically get some type of outcome from that she wants. I don't want to spoil it too much. I probably have said too much already. So we have these two effed up people, and Mickey very quickly realizes that Rain is shady and she is trying to blackmail him. And how does he respond? He handcuffs her to the bed. So things escalate quickly from there, and they get into this relationship that they have to hide from everyone else because this is supposed to be a mentorship and they are supposed to be staying away from each other. My favorite moment in the book was basically the moment when, unfortunately, one of the more villainous characters is presumed to be dead by our main character, and she starts to freak out. That is my favorite part in this book. I don't want to spoil too much. You can let me know if you've read this book as well, by the way, in the comments, either in the live or after, and if you had any favorite characters here. And my regrets from this book: I killed off one of the dogs and I regret it. And a few people messaged me and they were like, why did the dog have to die? And I sat there and I was like, why did the dog have to die? I did not have to do that. I wrote that because I suppose in the heat of the moment, it just happened while I was writing. Like, the tragic accident happened and like it was filled. And then afterwards I thought about it and I'm like, that was kind of unnecessary. So I regret the dog dying. And I've been waiting to say this regret. It's official. I have said that I regret that. Hi to T. Vanessa, by the way, for joining. Thank you. So what do I see in the future for Rain and Mickey? Rain and Mickey also, as you can tell, have a baby. I see in the future for Rain and Mickey for them to basically have more babies. I see myself, if I'm writing, I know, those of you who are tired of babies are like, girl, we're done with this. But I see for Rain and Mickey going through, if I had to write another epilogue, it would be a very pregnancy-focused epilogue where they're crawling with kids and maybe they have a family band in the future. The only problem with the family band is that, as you remember from the book, Rain can't sing. She can't hit a note to save her life. So I see Rain playing the triangle, and Mickey, I believe, was the bass player, and one of the other kids is going to share his guitar skills because Rain, she doesn't have that. So I wanted to get into a little excerpt in Teasing the Tyrant. So let's take a look just at how the inside looks, by the way. I hope I don't lose my spot. It's similar to the other one, kind of big, but the font isn't too big. Okay, so I'm getting into the middle of Rain's chapter. This is chapter 13, titled Cooped Up Like a Slave. I don't know. Rain was just dramatic. Mickey leans forward and kisses me on the lips. I try not to freak out about the fact that a celebrity rock star is kissing me on the same day I broke up with Keith. What makes me freak out even more is Mickey leaning in deeper and his kisses feeling so much better than any kiss I've ever had. The only guy I kissed before was, well, Keith. I pull away and Mickey grins. Wow, he whispers. You're a lot sweeter when you kiss. I'm too shocked by him kissing me to play it cool. How did you do that? How did it feel so good? I thought you kissed before. I have. It's just normally there's more teeth. Keith's a biter. Mickey chuckles, and then he touches my face and brings me in close again. I can't help myself. I don't care that he's naked or anything. I press my hands against his chest and let him kiss me. I can feel the monster between his legs stiffening as I lean against him, but I can't stop myself from kissing him. I feel like I just tasted the best ice cream in existence, and now I can't break away. Instinctively, my fingers grab onto his shaggy brown hair, and he groans as I tangle my fingers in it. Fuck yes, he whispers. You are wild. What does that mean? Nothing, he whispers. Come here. He touches my hips and then brings me close, kissing me more and leading me slowly toward his bed. My heart races as the thought suddenly crosses my mind that seducing women is child's play for Mickey. The notches. He wants me as one notch. All the notches on his bedpost probably mean I'm one of thousands of women. He guides me gently back onto the bed, but before Mickey slides between my legs, I press my hand to his chest. He stops kissing me and gives me a curious look. He suddenly looks awkward as the teenage boyfriend I never had but always dreamed of. He looks like the weirdly hot music guy in school with his hair and his bare skin drawing against mine. What's wrong? Too fast? Yes, it's way too fast. I just broke up with Keith, I whisper. Yeah, he whispers. I know. I ain't a cheater. Neither am I whisper back to him. Listen, he says, pushing hair out of my face and kissing my forehead. You have nothing to worry about. I'll take care of you. I'll make you come. He says it with such confidence that I can't help feel wounded defiance. How the hell can he be so sure that he can make me come? Orgasms are events that normally happen without my boyfriend. So we're going to stop for a few moments, because this is the end of the sample. And I realized that I didn't talk as much about my inspiration for Mickey yet. So Mickey is supposed to be my grunge rock time period character. Think Kurt Cobain. I know Mickey's a brunette, but if you kind of think about that style of rock music like Nirvana, we're talking that Pacific Northwest grunge, that's what Mickey's supposed to look like. That's why he's very, very pale. He has blue eyes again. He has dark brown hair. And I kind of always wanted to dress him in flannel. I saw him in a lot of flannel, black ripped jeans, white t-shirt underneath it. Mickey is also Southern. All of them are Southern, but the influences for how he dressed and his appearance were based on that grungy kind of look. So Mickey definitely has that shaggy brown hair look, these blue eyes that suck you in, and he's a bass player. And I always got this idea that bass players were more like brooding and withdrawn. And so Mickey is kind of more of a troubled figure, and he is more on the shy side, and he really struggles with the fame, which is why he has those addiction issues that he's dealing with. And so that was a lot of my inspiration for him. I didn't want to forget to get to that at some point. So there's something I like in each one. I really think I liked Seb's fatherhood in this book. That was my favorite thing about this book in general. In this book, I liked that it was two immature characters growing. I won't lie, they will piss you off at times, but I really liked how they were both able to work on themselves in the book. And so if you're okay with characters being slightly annoying and getting better, then you may consider checking the second book out in the series. And they're interconnected standalones, so there's different couples and everything, but it'll be nice to see, I think, some of the previous characters from book 1 in book 2. So the third book was my favorite in the series to write because of the sex scenes. every time I try to make a post about this book, it gets blocked somehow. Every time, because the thing about this book is that there is a lot of ANAL in this book, and there's no way for me to say that to readers without the internet saying you cannot post this on the internet. So if whether it's excerpts, the peach emoji, I have tried it all. So this book is a very booty focused book. So I'm talking about Seducing the Sadist now. I'm sorry, I have this awkward index card because of where I need to start, but without losing my page, it looks like this. And this was maybe my most effed up book in the series, I won't lie. This book, I would say, I took some risks on. The premise of the book I'll get into, but the couple in this book, this is another age gap romance with Earl Wayne Jr. and LaShawn, whose last name I sadly cannot remember. I will go look and see if it's in the first chapter. LaShawn. What was her name, y'all? I don't remember. So LaShawn was the other main character in this book, and I can't recall her last name. If you remember LaShawn's last name, please let me know. I swear that just vanished straight from my mind. So this book was the book where there was a lot of butt action. I also have a plus-sized female lead in this book, and I really wanted to write, I wanted LaShawn to be a lot of things. So I'm going to pause and talk about LaShawn. LaShawn in the book has received a scholarship to Vanderbilt. To me, LaShawn is my tribute to a lot of some of the women I knew in university who were always working really hard, focused more on their grades and getting their act together than on having a guy. And at that time period in my life and a lot of Black women's lives, it was more common on college campuses for people to be very openly negative about how they perceived like Black women in general and plus size Black women. And so I wanted to write a book with this exact person in mind, that she is the sort of person where she's more than what society wants to stereotype her as. They will see just a plus size Black woman and think one thing, and LaShawn also has a very impoverished background, but LaShawn is not what you expect. She is hardworking, she's very intelligent. While she's on the young side, she has a very strong personality, and so she is kind of a tribute to a lot of these Black women I knew who were not really acknowledged and were more judged. And so I really wanted Earl to be all about LaShawn, and so his focus on her and like the intensity of the sex scenes between them was because I really wanted to demonstrate like how intense his feelings were for her, and that all of these external things were not a factor in his feelings, because that is the type of romance that I like to see. And so this was a little bit of a second chance and friends to lovers. The premise was complicated a little bit. And by the way, I will get to more on what inspired Earl Wayne Jr., because that is kind of important as well to keep on the theme here. So the premise of this book, so how do LaShawn and Earl know each other? LaShawn's brother and Earl are best friends. So it's a brother's best friend romance. LaShawn's brother is in jail for attacking Earl's father at some point a few years ago, because LaShawn's mother had brought them to America, and this will be explained more in the book, as immigrants. So they all immigrated to America, and they worked basically, and she worked as a maid for Earl Wayne Sr. Now, as a maid, she experienced a lot of abuse, as did LaShawn, which you will see in the story. Now, honestly, I would not say this is based on something specific that's real, but this is the sort, I wanted to get into the subject because it is really common for women who immigrate from the West Indies to come to America and to work for various white families who do not treat them well. That is a common thing. If you have family members from the West Indies, you may know that. You may know about that. You may have heard about that. So while this book is fictional, I feel like there was a vein of truth in what I was going for. And unfortunately, a lot of women who work in domestic help and that type of service experience a lot of abuse. And so I wanted this story to be a lot about LaShawn getting through that difficulty of her family background. So Sandra says, I like characters like that. We need to see more of that. And thank you. I appreciate it. And hello to everyone who joined. It's Polly, Shannon, Jonathan, and Lindy Ann. Thank you for being here today. So that was kind of where I was going for with some of their stories. So this one was really, really dark, I will say. And a lot of people did not like the twist at the end. But again, just to explain the twist at the end, if you've read this book, I wanted to write a book where it doesn't matter what you've been through, you can find love. It doesn't matter what your background is, you can find love. And in a way, I kind of feel like LaShawn had the toughest hand out of all the characters. Like, comparatively, Rain was privileged in a way. Comparatively, Angie was privileged. And so it's kind of like, did I just give LaShawn the hardest life ever? A little bit, but I also kind of think she got my favorite guy, like the coolest rock star. So I hope that this does not upset people too much. But this book was very dark. This was, I said, brother's best friend, a plus-sized female lead. And I really wanted to make this like a plus-sized female lead where she is appreciated for being plus-size in all of the sex scenes. So if you're looking to feel that like warm, positive, LaShawn Plummer, thank you. I knew it. I knew it was something with an ER at the end. Thank you, A. Haggerty. You win the prize for today's video because for the life of me, I could not remember. So when I wrote Earl Wayne Jr., I wanted him to be but he's kind of like Bruce Springsteen in a way. He is kind of the old Southern money character, but his aesthetic, I wanted it to be like a more dramatic Bruce Springsteen. So I definitely got a lot of inspiration for Earl's clothes from the Country Music Hall of Fame. I took a lot of pictures of like different old outfits from old country music stars, and he kind of has like a more Texas vibe in a way, like blue jeans, cowboy boots, bandana, white t-shirt, dramatic denim jackets, cowboy hats. Earl Wayne Jr. has it all. And he a little bit is kind of like in a way, he's the industry plant character. He has a very wealthy family, and his fame did not necessarily come from, playing drums in the streets. He's the drummer. His wealth came from his family. So how did he and LaShawn come together? Well, he was befriended LaShawn's brother when her mom was their live-in housekeeper, and LaShawn was kind of the little sister that got ignored but always had a crush on him. In the future, something traumatic again happens to LaShawn, and they kind of come together in a really surprising moment where his protective feelings for her seem to have changed since she is now a grown woman. My favorite moment in the book was the elevator scene. I liked that scene. If you know what I'm talking about, you can probably guess what I'm talking about, but that is my favorite moment in the book. And do I have any regrets in this book? I wonder if I gave LaShawn too much strife. I might have made her life too difficult. And it's funny because I would say she is my favorite female lead from the entire series, but I'd also think that I gave her the biggest difficulties. But it was really because this was my book where I wanted to put the most out there and to say anybody can find love. That was just the mood I was in this book. No matter what, we'll give you every bad thing life can throw at you. Doesn't matter. You can still find love. That's what this book is about. And hell, maybe your brother's got a really hot best friend. I don't know. So what do I see in the future for LaShawn and Earl Wayne Jr.? Honestly, because I gave LaShawn so much strife in this book, I see for her and Earl Wayne Jr., they go to a hotel vacation in Bali, and I write a lot of scenes about them enjoying their peaceful tropical vacation. And Lindy Ann says that she did not like that she has blank. I don't want to spoil it if you're not watching the live and haven't read it. But yes, that's the twist that I was referring to, and I knew it was really controversial. And honestly, this is a complicated reason why I chose to write that. A few years ago, before I was writing, I had actually worked in a healthcare setting where a girl that I knew got stuck with a needle accidentally at work. And because of the area where I was in when this happened, she had to undergo, I think it was 2 rounds of HIV testing to make sure from work that she didn't contract it. And throughout that time, she was telling me about some of her fears and concerns. And it made me realize that a lot of people who experience this, it's a very scary thing, and it can be a life-changing, life-ending thing. And especially for women that I've spoken to, you fear that you won't be able to find someone who can accept it. And so I did toy with not putting that at the end, but thinking about that girl I knew and what I went through, and having known someone where luckily she was fine, by the way, at the end, mercifully she was okay, but to know that for something that she really was just doing her job, she could have had this to carry with her for the rest of her life. It really made me, at some point, I had always wanted to write a character who had that experience. So again, if you haven't read the book, I hope I try not to spoil it. You guys can say whatever you want in the chat, by the way. I'm just trying to censor myself for anyone who watches later. But don't mind me. So I have here a little excerpt from this book. And by the way, it's completely okay if you didn't like that. I just wanted to explain myself a little bit more because I was definitely on the fence. So let me get to the excerpt here. And so this is a little scene between Earl and LaShawn, and it is from LaShawn's perspective. He stands in my doorway covered in sweat, tattoos, and the tiniest shred of fabric around his juicy backside and anaconda-sized wiener. I hate you, I snap at him. I know. Then he gives me that dumb, boyish frat boy grin, and I hate how much Earl makes me melt. Earl, didn't we already review all the reasons this is a bad idea? Uh-huh. You're older and wiser. Why aren't you listening? Hold on, I'm trying to wave. Because I'm older and wiser. I go after what I want now. And then he lunges for me. This crazy southern motherfucker takes his sweaty body and grabs me, instantly soaking through my shirt as I screech dramatically. Earl! I land with a thud on the bed in his guest bedroom. Even his guest bedroom is obnoxiously unfeminine. I draped a white sheet over the taxidermy buck's head, gawking at me with its enormous antlers. I couldn't fit a blanket over the moose, so I learned to live with that one. The bed is modern, with black flannel sheets that smell like those black ice car trees. Every inch of the room screams man, and now there's a man on top of me who intentionally chisels his body to perfection, his colossal body. Earl pins me to the bed and runs his tongue over my neck, slowly and possessively. I shudder and find myself lost for whatever argumentative words wanted to spill out of my mouth. Earl has this horrific effect on me. Once he touches me, I become addicted to what happens next, desperate to feel him between my legs and yearning for him. He's the most stable man I've had in my life. Not like a dad, not like an uncle, not like a brother. He was always something entirely different, something that we could only ever fully experience until now. Stop, I whisper. I need to breathe. I need to give myself a chance to make a better decision than tumbling headfirst into sex with Earl again. I don't want to stop, he growls, biting my neck so hard that I squeal. He loves making my flesh hurt, pinching me, slapping me, and getting very rough. Whatever Wayne demons are left inside of him come out in the bedroom, and I crave his sadism. I want to bring it out of him because it feels good. For once, I feel like I'm in control of what happens between us. I grab onto his hair and pull his face away from mine. We can't have sex, I whisper sternly. You want me, he argues. I know you better than any other woman, LaShawn. Don't forget that. And so that is a little bit here. I remember that it is very hard for me to find parts of this book I want to read that are not like a straight up sex scene. But despite that, I just really liked the dynamic between Earl and LaShawn. I feel like in terms of reviews, this is my least popular book. And again, Kara says, just write what you love. If they don't like it, they don't have to read it. And it's true. I definitely did kind of go by that for this book. And I agree with that. But this book, I just wanted to get on here and talk about some of the controversial stuff and bring it up because, I don't mind talking about these things with you guys if you're interested to know. So this is what it looks like, and that is the third book in the series. Now, I did not take it down to share today, but You can also get all 3 of these in a discrete bundle, and that is on there's an ebook bundle, and you can get the paperback, which is going to look different and going to be the discrete version. So did I have any? Yeah, I think I already talked about all my list for these 2 books. So I wanted to talk about the future Rockstar Romance books. And I was supposed to post this as a Facebook poll beforehand, but I'll post it after. And then you guys can comment your opinions now or after the video. Which of the future Rockstar Romance ideas you like the best of these 4? So it's what type of band. So 1 is a heavy metal dark romance. 2, a band that's more like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 90s style romance. 3, a Texas rock star romance. Or 4, a Seattle Pacific Northwest grunge. So if you have any opinions on what type of rock star romance you would prefer from these 4, let me know. I will make a Facebook poll, and I will just address the general comments and the poll in a future live video. And my next lives are probably going to be next week. I might do irregular live streams in the afternoons next week, but my official lives are going to be Saturday and Sunday. So let me know out of those options if you have a favorite for future Rockstar Romance ideas. And I wanted to talk about, I wrote down other Rockstar Romance books, and I have these kind of like, I would say, dark humor short stories I wrote for entertainment when we were under our lockdown and quarantine at the very beginning of the rhymes with spandemic. Oh wait, that's literally just saying the word pandemic. My brain. So Quarantined with the Celebrity Who Brought Me. The Texas Romance, Mary Shiloh says, thank you for voting. I'll keep track of the answers as you guys comment them. So this was like a dark comedy short stories. There are 4 of them. Hi, Ennis Rock. Thanks for joining. There are 4 of them. They're super short. I don't know if the paperbacks should exist. This was an experiment. Let me know if you think a paperback this tiny makes any sense. I think you're better off getting the ebooks for this one, but you can get a paperback if you want. Hi to everyone who just joined as well. Thank you for joining. So these books are, they are 4, they're 10,000 words each approximately, really short stories, but you can get these books on Amazon as well. So Kara says, how about a soft rock band like Player or Fleetwood Mac? Oh, I really like that idea too. That's a good one. I was trying to come up with just 4 options, but I really like Fleetwood Mac, so that sounds like a good idea as well. If you're into, by the way, more erotica stories, this is a more erotica Rockstar Romance. So Quarantined with the Celebrity Who Bought Me. Look at Leanna says, I liked that one. And I think that one was, it's short, it's quick, but it's free in KU, I'm pretty sure. And I've also been running some promotion on Facebook where I'm giving this away, but I don't really understand how to link you to that. I'm sorry. So what was I thinking about the talking about next? Sorry, I got to consult my notes for a second. So, oh, right. So this one has maybe like a more wild plot, but definitely has a lot of sex in it, so you're gonna get that. And I wanted to talk about Long Island Executioner. Now this video is running a little longer than I thought it would, but I like boy band type of the 80s, says Sandra. Boo Boo Mahida says hi back. So I have here a little excerpt from Long Island Executioner. So before I get into that, even if I kind of have been here for a while, I thought I'll still get into it and read this short piece. So Long Island Executioner is coming October 27th. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it free in KU, and you can pre-order it now. I have posted the first chapter on my blog, JamilaJasperRomance.com/blog. And right now I have a little moment here between Althea and Lucky that is not anywhere right now. It's not on Patreon. It is not on my blog. The book is not live. So I just thought I would come here and share this little moment. No, the other book coming out in October, Ennis Rock 25 asks, it's the only one for October. I have The Dirty Contract coming out on the 12th. But this is the next mafia romance, and that's my next full-length novel coming out, if that answers the question. So I'm going to read this little scene in the mafia romance Long Island Executioner, and then we'll almost be done with today. So This is from Althea's perspective, but the first statement is Lucky says, "You are my family, Althea, and I will protect you. No need for the police." The slightest touch from Lucky makes me weak, but this strange possessive act sends me into a full-blown panic. I try to say something, but my tongue hangs limply in my mouth as I submit fully to control from Lucky's hand. Is this what he really wants from me? Is that what he always wanted? Not sex, not a chance to experience a fetish, but connection? My hands press against Lucky's torso, but I can't make myself push him away. His brow furrows, and before I can ask him what caused the reaction, he kisses me. It's a nervous first kiss, and then he gets more confident that he can take what he wants. He holds my cheeks firmly in his grasp as he kisses and kisses me like I belong to him. "You're mine," he growls. "Do you understand?" If I hadn't just kissed him and tasted the mint on his breath, I would think Lucky was drunk or on drugs again. He sounds desperate, romantic. This is a side of him I've never seen before, and I don't know what the fuck brought it out. I grab onto his shirt and pull him against me so we can kiss more. We already have a kid together. He gave me head in his kitchen. A little kissing can't possibly hurt. Lucky grunts and moves me towards the stairs as we kiss. I struggle not to fall backwards, but Lucky holds onto me tightly, allowing me to trust that I can move with him and won't topple over. He grabs my hips once we're close to the stairs and thrusts me up against the wall. I don't fight him this time. I run my hands under his shirt, touching every inch of his muscles, and after a nice long feel, I drag his shirt towards me, so Lucky's body presses against mine, and I can feel how fucking hard his muscles are. Lucky takes my lower lips between his teeth, drawing me towards him more. I don't want to stop myself with him anymore. He grunts as I reach between his legs and allow my palms to clasp around the outside of his trousers. The lump in my throat expands. What the actual fuck? I've never felt anything this big, at least not that I remember, and my hand instantly jumps away from Lucky's crotch as my heart pounds 1,000,000 miles a minute. 10 years isn't enough time to forget a dick that big, right? I would remember a big dick. And so that is our pause for today. So that was our chapter excerpt. There's a lot coming for Lucky and Althea. These chapters will be on Patreon this month. If you have not signed up for the Patreon yet, you are going to get most, if not all, of the chapters of this book before the launch date. There are already a few out with more on the way, so consider signing up. It's patreon.com/Jamila Jasper. Thank you, Ennis Rock, for the emojis. I was hoping that y'all would appreciate this little excerpt. It's not very long. I've done so many excerpts today, but I think that you guys like them. So if you like when I read bits and pieces from the chapters, please do let me know. It's a lot of fun for me, and it's a little bit less pressure than doing the whole audiobooks, and I get to interact with you guys, so I like it. But I actually need to cut this video. I guess short is the opposite of what this video is, so I need to cut this video off because I need to be done here, and I stayed on for a little longer, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Next Saturday, I will be on at 11 a.m. with another live stream. Thank you, Mary Shiloh, for saying that you love it. What's cool, I realized, is I can schedule these, so you can look on my page and get notifications, but I'll post and probably do a few emails. Hi, Swirl Queen. I'm almost done today, but hopefully you get a chance to see the whole video. And so I will be on here next week, Saturday, 11 a.m. I'll make a little notification and let you know when the next videos are coming out. So make sure you stay tuned to my page and to check my story, and I will see you next week. I am not going to summarize everything today because I've just been on here a little longer than anticipated, and I have to move on to the next schedule on my appointment book. A. Haggerty says, have a good week, and thank you. You guys have a wonderful Sunday, a great rest of the week, and I may see you for some spontaneous live streams next week, but a definite scheduled one on Saturday. So see you then. I can't wait till we get to talk about books again. Bye-bye.
She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down sometimes.